and welcome back to the Shamrock Quilt Studio. Today we're working on our applique piece, Miss Kelly. We've covered in the previous videos how we make the individual pieces that we're going to applique onto the background. And today I'm going to show you how I'm going to remove the fabric from the template and pin them in place to work on our video. We're going to start with just this side of it. My initial thought was to have all of the pieces together, but I think it'll be easier to show you how we're just going to do these first four, because it's kind of like anything you learn in school. If you learn the basics of it, every step after that will be just a little bit easier. So that's where we're going to start, and we're going to get these 4 pieces, maybe 5. I've got the little green piece as well. Let me grab it. Maybe get that pinned on. I'm not sure we're going to do that. And then I also, in our last video, made the bias tape that's going to be the stems. So I'm not sure we're going to get to that, but we are going to work on these 4. So stay with us and we'll start on that right after this. Okay. So here we are. We're going to be working on getting these pieces pinned onto our background. I have made sure that our registration marks from our pattern to our background fabric is in the proper place, and I caution you to do that every time, or you're going to find out that as you're working on this, your pieces are going to get out of place. And sometimes when you've got that paper behind it taped in together, that it wants to wave on you. This one's been hanging up for a little while, and it's wanting to do that a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here on the outside edge, and we're going to use a little disappearing pen, and pardon me just a moment. Probably get a seam ripper just to be sure. And I have a little, there it is. I have a little awl that I was just using for something else. We're going to use that just in case we need it. And then I've got some pins. And for this I'm using a very fine pin. It doesn't have to be a short pin, but it needs to be something with a very small metal portion with a sharp point, because you want it to be able to grab into that fabric and not push it in and get a little pucker. So we're going to start with this piece here. This is the piece on the very bottom, and we're going to build on top of that till we... Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, which is this piece, and I think that it's marked P4, and we're going to carefully take out the template material, the mylar in the middle, and we did starch these and we've kept them nice and flat, so they are holding their shape very well. And we're going to put that right in place where it goes, and it may take a little bit of adjustment to get that right where it needs to be. And then we're going to pin it right on that far edge. And it may be a little bit difficult because you want to grab a hold of the pink fabric, the white fabric, but not the paper. Just going to double check. Yep, that's right where it needs to be. And then we're going to double check, since we moved it there, here at the top is it where it needs to be. And we're going to put another pin in there. And we do want it to come out on the top so it will hold it in place and it won't shift. And then we're going to check down here on the bottom, and we're going to get that pinned. Now, we don't necessarily need to worry about this side over here, because this piece is going to sit right on top of it. Now, how I would prefer to do this is put this on and stitch it in place. Then come back and put this piece on and stitch it in place. But for demonstration purposes, that's not very efficient. We'd have a videotape of a clip and a clip and a clip and a clip, and yeah, I think you'd find it to be rather annoying, and it's very time consuming as well. I'm going to push this pin down just a little bit. What I'm going to go ahead and do is pin all 4 of these pieces on. Then I'm going to show it and then come back and show you. Mainly today we're talking about pinning in place. So here's our second piece, and we're going to line it up where the point is and where the back side is, and you see that it's going to overlap that other pink piece. So we're going to start pinning. And again, you're wanting to catch the pink fabric, the white background fabric, but not the paper. And the more accurately you can place these, the more accurate your finished product will be. Now, here, where we're pinning it, I'm pinning pink to pink. I didn't necessarily go through the white. And I think what we're going to find is at the end of this, we're going to have to turn that over just a little bit so it will scoot right underneath that green fabric. Okay, so 2 pieces pinned on. Now we're going to go for the third. And same steps. We're going to place that in the point here and then back around where it goes here. Now this one, it looks like it's this piece here, the second petal from the bottom, is folded over when we made it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to unfold that, because I think that will make it easier for us. We can just sit one piece on top of the other. And to assist us, we're going to add a little helper pin there. And then we're going to start pinning this one. I think something that I've learned already is that places where one applique is going to sit over the next applique, you don't need to fold it and iron it under. You're better off just to let that be loose and free and just hidden by the piece on top of it. Okay, so that's pinned here. We're going to unfold that piece. I'm going to give it another pin. And I'll tell you what I'm also going to do. I'm going to also take it and give it a little bit of heat here with my iron. See if we can get a little bit of that fold out of there. It's been unplugged a minute, so it's not full blast ironing heat, but it is a little bit warm. And we can also use our little applique iron too, a little mini iron. I just don't have that plugged in at the moment. Okay, so there we go. Now, something is amiss because this piece is not covering this piece, and this piece is way too far over. So we need to step back and adjust. I think something in the pinning process got us out of whack there. Okay, that's better. And then we're going to pin that on top of that. Fold this under. Okay. All right, that's looking better now. We have all three of the light pink pieces on here. And then we are ready to put the dark piece on. And we're going to line it up here at the top. And we're going to line it up on the right side. And then I can see I've got just a little bit of a gap. So we're going to slide it just a tad. And we're going to pin the top. And then I'm going to fold it back. And I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. I'm going to unfold this. So our lesson today is don't fold under where you've got something that can be overlapped. It'll save us some time in that folding process when we're using the starch. And it will also make it a little bit easier when we're putting it together. Now we're not going to sew on this side over here, on this right side, because we have 3 more pieces to go here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to work from the bottom up to the top piece, and the top piece lays on top of all of it. But we do need to make sure that we've got this side over here in place and ready to go. This is why I like to kind of do this a little bit at the time, because it allows me to learn as I go. I've learned something today that had I decided to go and make all of the pieces for the applique, would have been a very difficult path to try to match up everything perfectly like a jigsaw puzzle. This way we're laying on top of each other, and it's going to make it easier for us. It'll probably make it faster too. Okay. And then I'm going to, ow, pins are sharp. We're not sewing this side, but we do have it pinned just so it stays in place. So here we go. We've got the 3 light pink petals and the dark pink petals. Hopefully, yes, we've pinned it to the background fabric, but we've not pinned it to the pattern. And we have everything in place, and now we can just use a little invisible stitch to applique around the edges of all of the pieces so that they fit together nicely and they fit on the background. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put this in place just so you can see what it's going to look like. So that's how that's going to look. And then the bias binding we make is going to be the little stitch. Looks a whole lot different, and you're beginning to see a little excitement now that we've put them all together, and you can see what they're going to look like. This is going to be a short video today so that I can work on getting these together, and then I have a project this week of getting the other 3 pieces constructed and starch based so that we can move forward with getting those sewn on as well. This project already, I can tell you, is taking more time than I thought it would. However, our other project, our EPP project, is beginning to wrap up. So I think that's a good way to kind of get to a point where this is going to take more time, but I won't have the other project to work on. So we will be able to move it along pretty nicely. And then here are the other 3 templates that will go just like this over here, roughly. All right, that's it for today. If you're following along with us, be sure to work on these other 3 pieces. And for me, I'm going to be working on getting these pieces that we pinned down today sewn in place, and then maybe get this one. I don't think I'll work on this one. I think I'll just work on getting these attached and getting these made, and then we'll pop in for another short video sometime during the week. And then next Friday when our video drops, I'm hoping that I can show you the whole flower up here, and as we start working on the leaves coming down in the project. Thank you so much for joining us here today at the Shamrock Quilt Studio, and your patience in working with this. It's been a difficult week or so, but we're getting things together and getting back in the swing of things and working on our projects. Be sure to like us on Facebook and like us here on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel. Click the little bell so you get notified, and we'll see you next time at the Shamrock Quilt Studio.